Hello, I'm Greg Redk of Redk Mods, and welcome to episode 9 of season 2 of my Mac Pro series. In this episode, I'll be showing you how to install High Sierra on your 3.1 Mac Pro or unflashed 4.1 Mac Pro. And basically in episode 6, I told you that in episode 7, we'd be showing you how to install Sierra. Well, that was in the past. A lot of things happened. A lot of things in my family life happened, and I put everything on hiatus in this series. So we're getting back to installing the newer operating systems on our Mac Pros. This episode's going to be centered around Colin Mister, aka DOS Dude 1's High Sierra patch. I'll be showing you how to do it. This isn't really a tutorial for people who have unsupported Macs, though you can follow this video. This is more just a tutorial for anyone that has an unsupported Mac Pro. But you can follow this video if you want to install it on another Mac. The process is basically the same all the way through, but I'm going to be centering it more on a Mac Pro like this one right here, which is right now running High Sierra. This is my 3.1 right there, running High Sierra, just to prove that it's already set up and ready, but I'm going to be wiping it because I was just testing it. Now this 3.1 Mac Pro was the original very first Mac Pro 3.1 to run High Sierra, probably in the whole world. Back June 5th, 2017, I used Colin's Sierra Patcher to install High Sierra on this system by using a supported system, installing on. It's a big rigmarole. It was complicated, but I successfully got it working, and so this is a kind of a historic system, you could say. But anyway, to skip on to everything, basically, also if you want to see that video, you can click up here. Well, anyway, to skip off on all that and get straight to the point, let's start installing Sierra, High Sierra. So let's go. Okay, so here we are running High Sierra. Just to quickly show you guys, it is running High Sierra right now, and that it is very possible, and this is basically what I'm going to show you how to do this and get it all running. So anyway, first off, we'll need to boot into El Capitan or any, of course, supported operating system. You can also do this on a target disk system or whatnot, but I'm going to boot it into El Capitan and we will take it from there. So let's go. Okay, so welcome to El Capitan. The reason why we're running El Capitan here is so we can run Colin's High Sierra Patcher and set up the install drive. And basically, I always would recommend you having a supported operating system on your Mac just to fall back to fall back on. It's very important, very useful, just in case a future update for Sierra, High Sierra, or whatever's coming out in the future. If an update breaks the compatibility of that operating system, you still have an OS you can fall back on to recover from or to use the system. I'd recommend having El Capitan at least installed on a secondary partition. This is set up on my third drive, which is the smallest drive I have on the system. This is a very bare bones install. So anyway, I'm going to be showing you how to use Colin's Patcher, but first I'm going to show you where to get it. Now, if you head to this link right here, I'll have it linked in the description. You can go over to Colin's High Sierra Patcher page, and this will tell you everything about what you need to do. Now, for a 3.1 Mac Pro, there is one stipulation. Now, I'm not going over the requirements here for all the other systems, since this is just strictly for a Mac Pro. But for the 3.1 Mac Pro, the only incompatibility we have here is if you're using the original airport card. it will not work in Sierra or High Sierra, and you'll need to replace it. I myself have used an OSXWiFi.com AC Wi-Fi adapter, which also has built-in Bluetooth 4.0. So it's very modern, very quick. It's the fastest internet connection I have out of all my Macs. Really useful, very worth the price. You can put any supported chip in, like a chip from a 4.1 Mac Pro. It will work. But I decided to go big, and it was worth it. So anyway, getting back to the point, the 4.1s will not have any problems, and you won't have any problems with compatibility. Now, of course, I would recommend you just flashing the 4.1 to a 5.1, then you won't have to worry about this. So this tutorial is more going to be based around the 3.1, but you can follow it for your 4.1 if you don't want to flash it. So anyway, when we head to this website right here, we can go down to the things you'll need thing here, and you can download the copy of the tool, which is right here. Once you download that, it will load a DMG. It will be wherever you downloaded everything. I have it right here on my desktop. You'll open it up, pull the patcher out, and then here we have the patcher. We open it up by right-clicking and hitting open, and that's because of the security and all that stuff. I've already ran the program once, so there's no issues for me, and I can actually open this normally, but I wanted to show you guys that. So anyway, when the High Sierra patcher comes up, if you do not have an a High Sierra installer, you can go over to Tools up here and hit Download macOS High Sierra. You hit Yes, and then it will give you an option on where you want to save it. You save the location, etc., etc. And then once that is all done, it will ask you if you want to use the image that you just downloaded. And if you already have an image of it, like if you downloaded it from a supported Mac, that's even better. So yeah, anyway. So once you do all that, you want to select the installer. I use click to browse. We go over to where the installer is, and we hit open. It will verify it if it's a good image. And then you select the drive you want to use. Now, of course, you should be using a USB flash drive if you can, but not all work properly. And if it freezes up on you, it's probably because your flash drive. Now, I myself, I'm using a external FireWire hard drive because I can't find my installer flash drives that actually work. And the flash drive I was trying to use, of course, didn't work. So I'm using a 500 gigabyte hard drive to do this, but it works. Anyway, you'd hit, you choose that, you hit Start Operation. It will ask if you want to wipe it. You hit Yes. You type in a password, and presto, it will start loading everything onto the drive. And once it's finished, we can now boot into the drive. So that's the end of the screen capture recording. Now we're going to hop over to actually booting into the drive, and well, it's going to start getting a little funky looking, but you know, just stick around. It's still easy to follow. So let's go. Okay, so we're now in the boot menu of the Mac, and of course, to access the boot menu or to even install this, you need a supported video card, EFI supported, basically. And if it's like if it's flashed, for instance, you may also need to run it in EFI graphics mode if it's, for instance, an NVIDIA card. But after that, you know, you can install the drivers and all that stuff, and you'll be fine. And you can use an aftermarket card after that. But right now, we're using a supported card. And my supported card I'm using is the original HD 2600 XT that came in the system. And so anyway, what we're going to want to do is to boot into the OS X base system drive that the installer has made. This installer has been patched, so it will work with the system and it will work, plain and simple. It will boot up just like any other supported installer would. So we'll let it boot up and then we'll continue. And here we are in the installer. Now Colin's Patcher is pretty darn cool because it will have shortcuts to anything you would need. For instance, disk utility, terminal, and Mac post install for all the patches. You would need to use terminal to disable security features like SIP so you can access and of course modify the file systems. You can't have SIP enabled, otherwise the system will not run because of all the patches and hacks that are running in High Sierra's set up to make it run on this system. So terminal is very useful. Next option we can use here is disk utility. The disk utility is going to be useful if you want to, for instance, format your whole drive. So here's the disk I'm going to be installing on. No, actually that's not it. Where is it? Here it is. Here's the disk I'm going to be installing on. It currently has my install on it. So we're going to do a clean wipe of it. But if I don't want to do that, let's say we want to move our El Capitan install to High Sierra. We can do that. We can upgrade like any other Mac. We'd hit continue, agree to everything, and then we'd choose this, and we could upgrade it, we could customize it, etc., etc. So if I hit continue here, it will start upgrading, and etc., etc. You can do that, but of course I want to keep my El Capitan install, and so we're going to be installing it on High Sierra drive, which I have here. So I need to wipe it. So we'll open up the disk utility. I'll choose the drive I want to wipe, and I'll erase it. Now, of course, you can now use APFS on drives, but I remember earlier versions of Colin's Patcher allowed you to boot into APFS, but it was never really stable in the earlier versions. I don't know if that patch still exists, and honestly I just recommend using the regular formatting because these older systems are designed for the regular formatting, and APFS isn't. Basically, if you use APFS, it will have issues booting up sometimes. I don't know if there's a patch to allow it to still do it because I haven't tested it. Plus, if you use the APFS, you no longer have a recovery drive, which is kind of useful for this, especially if you don't have a secondary OS recovery drive on here. So I'm going to be using the regular old FSX. Wow, my mind's going blank on the name. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, yeah, basically I'm going to wipe this. I'd recommend using the old formatting. Plus, if you're using Windows 10 or of course any Windows, and you want to be able to access your drives, the old drivers for the drives don't support APFS, so you'd have problems with that too. So I'm going to keep the normal old-fashioned formatting. I'll erase my drive here. It will erase, and there we go. We're all done there. So we'll close out disk utility, and I'll go to continue, choose High Sierra, continue, and it will start installing High Sierra. Once everything is installed, the system will restart and start booting up, and you'll get the cannot continue circle cross thing error, and that's because it hasn't been patched yet, and the OS detects it's an unsupported system, so it won't boot. So once this is finished installing, we'll take care of that and continue on. So I'll let this install, and then we'll come back. Okay, so the system's restarting right now. Now when it's finished restarting, I would recommend you going back into the boot menu. But let's say we didn't know we had to. I'll show you what happens. And that's what happens. It will not boot. So what you have to do is restart the system and go back into the installer. Hold in Option. We'll go back into the installer drive. Okay, so now that we've got the installer running again, we can now go to where the magic really happens. Mac OS post install right here. Open that up. There we go. Now in this section right here, it would tell you the system that it detected your system as. It should be proper. If not, you'll have to select your model. But either way, you have to select your model. Just select the proper model. So this is a Mac Pro 3,1. And after we select that, it will automatically choose all the patches it will need. Now, of course, if you have other things like for this right here, if you have a 3,1 and you're running a HD 5000 to 7000 video card, there's some issues with the system, and you'll need to patch it with this. I don't have one of those, so I'm not going to have to worry about it, but if you do, you should do it. Now, I would recommend you choosing the recovery partition patch so you can boot into the recovery partition if you need to. So we'll select that. And yes, we apparently do still have the APFS patch. Basically, it just, I don't know how it works. I haven't tested it. I may make a video on it eventually, but right now I'm not worried about it. So anyway, so once we get all those selected, you want to select the volume that High Sierra is installed onto. So we'll select High Sierra and hit patch, and it will patch. And once everything's done, we just click reboot. It will rebuild the cache, and it will reboot. And when it's rebooting, it should go back into the setup screen, unless of course you've upgraded it. And here it is booting up. And here we are in the install menu. Of course, we'll just set this up like any other regular Mac would be set up. Choose our keyboard layout, choose our internet connection. I'll type in my password real quick here. And continue. Okay, now here we can transfer our data over if, of course, you didn't upgrade. You can either use a system disk. For instance, I'll show you real quick. Hit continue. And what it will give me is an option for the built-in drive that's already in here, which is my El Capitan drive. We can select that and hit continue, and it will put my El Capitan settings on it. But what I'm going to do is actually restore my system from my other Mac Pro's backup, and do it that way, and then in that case I'll have the ability to just basically transfer over everything I needed to transfer over, so I can actually use my new Mac Pro, and let the other one just do what it needs to do. Let's put in the password here. So it starts loading up my time capsule. And we'll look for the image that would be for that system there. Where is it? Here it is. I'll be installing this backup image onto this Mac Pro and setting it up. And so it will restore this image right here, and I won't have any more issues. I'll be able to transfer everything over. It will be set up. So anyway, that's basically the end of the episode. If you followed this for another system, good for you. It should have helped you a lot. I'd like to thank Colin Mister again, aka DOSDude1, for making this excellent patch. If you guys want to check out his YouTube channel, you can click up over here. Great guy. He and I do a lot of things together. If you watch the PowerPC series, he and I have already done a lot of things, doing modifications and stuff. Very interesting guy to watch. You know, great guy to talk to. Great friend of mine. We're doing a lot of interesting things. But anyway, if you guys want to go over there and thank him personally, subscribe to him, I'd greatly appreciate it, and I'm sure he would too. Anyway, so that's the end of the episode. If you guys want to, by any chance, support me via Patreon, I'd greatly appreciate that too. There will be a link to that at the end of the video. And basically, once again, that's the end of the video, and thank you for watching. This has been a RutKMods video.